Okay, we're all good? Okay. So, welcome to night one. I'm really excited to get to spend the next 7 Tuesdays with all of you. So I'm Debbie. Um, and please call me Debbie or Deb or whatever, no need. I've had other people call me other things and that's it. So my name is Debbie. And Excited. So I thought we could start with some intros, and then we'll talk about how the class is structured, a little bit about what the assignment was coming into today. Hopefully everybody had a chance to read. I'll talk about and the assignment for next week. Good? Okay, I'll start with an introduction for myself. So this is what we're going to do for our intro. Are you ready? These are name, what you do, so where you work, where you're located, the reason you're taking this class, okay, and your favorite new product or current product that you use, whatever it happens to be. It could be food, it could be a piece of clothing, could be a product you use on your skin or your hair or whatever, it could be a car, and why, what need it meets for you. Okay? Clear? Okay, I'll start. And I'll give you a drop of background on myself. So I'm Debbie, and I teach the foundations of advertising research class at NYU, and also related to the Advertising Research Foundation. And I am located in Connecticut, in Stamford, Connecticut. So I'm located close to New York City. What have I done? So right now, I am a consultant. I do a lot of work on developing new products and communication for different brands and organizations. But prior to that, I spent a lot of my life at Unilever. I'm not sure if everybody knows who Unilever is, but makers of Dove soap, Tresemme, Hellmann's, a bunch of ice cream and other things, and ran the research team there, the consumer insights team, locally and also for Dove globally. And a couple years ago, I left and have been doing my own thing. And there is Lori. Sorry, I know that was not part of my intro, but there she is. Okay, so that's really about me. In terms of my favorite new product or product that I use, one product I love is called The Ordinary. Has anybody here ever used The Ordinary? Do you guys know about it? It's this, they make a ton of different types of skincare products, but what I like about it is they're very simple and easy to understand. That's one thing. You don't spend a fortune in it. So they're almost like single-minded types of products, right? So it might be like retinol plus something else. And they've kind of kept it very simple and basic, but effective. So I don't feel like, oh, they're $15 versus $75. So I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm throwing my money away. If you don't like it, the pain is not that bad, and they're very effective. So that's me. Any questions? No? Okay. And again, excited to chat with everybody. So, okay, who wants to go next? Kelly?
I'll go. Hi, I'm Kelly Cuomo. I'm out of Mooresville, North Carolina. I work for Bank of America. I've been with them for 22 years. I'm taking this class because I don't work in advertising or deal with advertising. I'm more in satisfaction. So I just thought this would be a great intro for me to just learn more about that. You talked about Ordinary. I actually like Neutrogena because I'm getting older and I need to get these wrinkles to be, I guess, a little bit lighter. So the reason I like them is because they're cheap as well. So it's Neutrogena retinol. And that's it.
Is that the little jar?
Yes, the little gray jar.
I love that product. I love that product. I just want to say that. Okay. Next.
I can go next. Hi, my name is Jacqueline. I am the digital experience manager at Jaguar Land Rover. So I work at corporate, not one of the retailers. I'm based out of Hoboken, New Jersey. Our office is Northern New Jersey, for anybody familiar with the area. I am taking this course because my role is digital obsessed and optimization obsessive. So always looking at our audience and how they change and how best to improve the customer experience for them across all of our brands. And my favorite product right now has been for a while is the Stanley Cup. So I personally like my water ice cold and it fits in the cup holder of my car. So I can take my ice cold water anywhere and everywhere.
Nice, nice. Next.
I can go next because I have a follow-up, Jacqueline, to you. So my name is Riley. I'm based in Charlotte. I work at Bank of America. I sit on the culture and trends team, and my day-to-day job looks a lot. I manage a quantitative survey and a research initiative that we internally call the Navigator. We get to work and ask questions for Americans in general, and then also clients about different aspects of the market landscape, the society, technology, the environment, the economy, politics, wellness, brand relations. We get to cover the gamut. My favorite part of my job is just the storytelling I get to do, taking all these questions, putting it together, making a narrative that is just fun to share. Okay. Name, job, location. I'm taking this class because I want to, develop more skills when it comes to research design, methodology. I have a background in marketing, communication, and research already, but I just thought the courses that are offered in here were really interesting. And I also miss school, so this is fun for me. And my favorite product right now is a double whammy. I was going to say a Diet Coke, specifically in the 12-ounce can, but I am a Brewmate Eras tumbler girly. I had a Stanley for a while, and there are several reasons why I think this one is better. The main one is, watch, be amazed. You can lock it on the top and it doesn't spill out. So I put this full baby in my purse with my laptop and all of my things, and I'm 0% worried. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Okay. Who wants to go next? Scott? Wait, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Sorry. So I'm Scott Ensko. I am with Bank of America. I sit on the product research side and focus a lot of work on sort of all the products and services that the bank offers in the consumer space, as well as innovation and standing up an innovation process within the bank. So I guess the favorite product that I've recently bought is it's a new massage gun, and it has the ability to have both heat and cool. So it adds a little, sort of additional, I don't know, kind of helps with when you're really trying to work out some knots in your muscles and so forth. It's nice to put on the heat setting and really work through that. And it's really compact, so you can take it with you at kind of anywhere. And I think that's kind of my favorite product.
And where are you located?
I'm in Charlotte as well.
Charlotte. Okay, great. Nice. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Who wants to go next? I'm not afraid to call on people, so. Stephen, you're going?
Yeah, I'll go. I just had to go off on mute. So Steve Martin, not the comedian. Bank of America as well. I'm Charlotte adjacent in Waxhaw, but not many people know what that is. So I handle the brand and advertising research within the bank. So it's kind of upper funnel measurement down to consideration. And I'm hoping to get out of this course just kind of to fill in the gaps and kind of reinforce some of the things that I already know. So I'm hoping this is a safe space because my absolute favorite product right now is my American Express card. And it's because these reward points allows me to play the game and figure out how to get extra value more than just the dollar rewards that we get with our kind of Bank of America cards itself.
Mhm.
So Scott, if you want to talk about some of your products and stuff, we can kind of work on that.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I'm Lynn Burzak. I am also Bank of America Merrill Lynch. I am located in northern New Jersey. My job focus is actually on research on the Merrill side, primarily with our financial advisors and their clients. So a little bit different than some of the other Bank of America folks. I am taking this course to remember some of the advertising research stuff I used to do in a previous role. But I've been at Merrill for over 20 years now, so I've done less and less of that over the years. My favorite product now is I actually bought one of those balance balls that you can use as a desk chair. And it actually makes me sit up straight when I'm talking to people and it's not slumping. The only issue is the dog doesn't have a place to go. They have to stay under the desk. So.
Nice, okay. Go ahead.
And Steve, you're not the only one who prefers different cards than Bank of America cards. I hear that all the time from FAs when I talk to them. So.
Okay, who wants to go next? 3 more people left.
I'll go next. Can you hear me?
Hi, we can hear. Thanks, Jared. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I tried to jump in earlier, but apparently there's something wrong with my mic. But anyways, my name's Jared Oliver. I work for Ocean Spray. I'm based out of Massachusetts. That's where the headquarters is. Really nice place. If you ever get the chance to go there, the building's beautiful. The campus is gorgeous. We have a cranberry bog on site. Really nice. So what I do is I work on the advanced analytics and modeling team. A lot of what I do specifically is marketing mix. So primarily my background before that wasn't really geared towards marketing and advertising. So this class is really going to help kind of round out my knowledge. Really kind of help give me, I think, a better understanding of exactly what I'm presenting to people and all that good stuff. And my favorite product right now is I like to cook, big cook. I like the Tramontina cookware. It's very versatile. You can cook on the stovetop, pop it in the oven. Want to finish a steak, some nice potatoes, stuff like that. It's fantastic stuff. Sell it at Walmart too. There you go.
Great. And how hot is it in the Boston area? You're the farthest north of any of us, I think.
Yeah. So I actually live on the south coast on Buzzards Bay, right near
Okay.
Cape Cod. So it's really cool. It's about 10, 15 degrees cooler than Boston. So whenever you see like 90 degrees in Boston, it's about 75, 80 where I live.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably getting definitely a little bit more of a breeze than many of us who are not there. Okay, good. Okay, we've got Lena left and Lori. Lena, you want to,
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm Lena Kurian. I work for Bank of America. Been with the bank for about 20 some odd years, and it has really been focused on B2B research. And I'm based in Jacksonville, Florida. So really the reason to take the class is never really experienced anything within the advertising realm, and it's interesting, and certification doesn't, hurt. So it's just really about education and how I can apply any of the learnings from the class or any, future prior classes to the work that I'm doing right now. I'm excited and looking forward to it.
excellent.
And the product, well, okay, so I have I have a lotion. I've been using the lotion, and I can't remember the name of it, but I love it. And my daughter got it for me, and I use it every day. And if I ever come up with a name, I'll share with the class, but it's escaping me right now.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay, Lori, thank you for pursuing getting in. Oh, wait, you're on mute. There you go.
Somebody else told me it looked like I'm in twice because I actually hung up once and rejoined. So I don't know. I might be in twice, but I'm here.
Don't worry about it.
Yay. I'm also from Bank of America, and I currently lead the 2 teams that support the wealth businesses and then just our businesses. So I've been at Bank of America for about 18 years, and like others, I will say I've done a lot of research in the wealth space. I've done a lot, I've done some like messaging research and stuff like that. I just haven't done a lot of like advertising research, I would say. So maybe I'm kind of wanting to learn more about that. I don't know what your other questions were because I joined late, but if everyone's giving a favorite product right now, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I just got new AirPods, and they're not Apple AirPods, because I don't like the little thing that hangs down, the little dongle there. I don't know if they even still make them like that. These ones are much more compact, but they work really well. And it's just so nice because like if I want to watch TV, they connect to my TV, they connect to my phone, my iPad, everything. So it's been just very convenient having a reliable source of AirPods versus what I have been using in the past.
That's great. And where are you located?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am actually probably more north than anyone. I'm North Shore of Massachusetts, so north of Boston. Yeah, and it is hot here. But because I'm on the coast, I also am getting a little bit of a coastal cooling, I'll say, or not as warm as I went into the office today, and it's only about maybe 15 miles inward from where I am, and it was probably 15 degrees hotter there. So
Oh, I could imagine. No breeze, right? Yeah.
No, yeah.
Well, thank you all. This is great. I really appreciate all of you talking a little bit about yourselves, things like that. So for tonight, normally I won't have like a bunch of slides to share, but tonight I do just have a couple of things that I'm going to go through just in terms of class structure, things like that. Make it a little bit easier if I figured if I had something to share. So hang on a second and I will get it. Okay, can everybody see it?
Yes.
You can all see it? Okay. So we
Yeah.
just did this part. Okay. So I'm not going to put it in slideshow mode unless you can't see it. I'm just going to kind of flip through the slides. So this is the class in case you weren't sure where you were. Oh, I forgot to change the dates. I'm really sorry. Okay. I do have an NYU email address. You can write to that if you have any questions, or I also have another email address, dbl1718@gmail.com. For anybody from Bank of America, you already have that. Okay, because we've corresponded already, because I know your firewall does not allow us to communicate through Brightspace, which is the NYU system, right? So for Jared and Jacqueline and I, we'll be talking to each other through Brightspace or email, whatever works for you. Okay, so just a couple things. As you probably know, this is a 7-week class. There's an asynchronous part. Okay, so you'll watch pieces, listen, pre-recorded on your own schedule. And then we have these live sessions every week for an hour. Okay, so what I want to be able to do in these sessions during the week when we meet on Tuesdays is to really review homework, have discussions, and to really help you think about what you may have read about in your homework, right? But I want to make sure that we keep the sessions very, I don't want them to be stressful, okay? I want it to be about us just chatting. I will call on people. In case, I have had a few people ask me this already, but you're required to attend at least 4 of the 7 sessions, although it would be great if you could attend all of them, okay? Mark Truss mentioned this in the asynchronous videos that you watched. By the end of this course, you should be able to evaluate the range of research methodologies for advertising and marketing, the process. You'll develop an understanding of qualitative and quantitative research methods. You'll be able to differentiate between the different types of behavioral data for measuring campaign impact. You'll be able to design a measurement plan. That is actually the final project. And I'm going to actually talk about the final project tonight because I want you to think about it every single time you do your homework, right? Because we're going to be building towards that. And that goes with number 5, delivering this high-level research plan. If you looked at the syllabus, there were I think it's pretty clear in terms of the expectations for the class, especially in terms of grading. But I'm just going to review that. Okay, so there's a part of the grading that is about participation. I really, really want to hear from you guys in class. It is a safe space. You can ask questions, any kind of questions you want. I just want to hear, you know, what's on your mind. I want to get your reactions to the videos that you've watched or even experiences that you've had. I'll share real life experiences that I've had to bring things to life, but I want to hear from you guys as well in terms of, hey, you know, not to pick on Jared because of marketing mix modeling, but in week 6, we will talk about modeling and ways to do post-evaluation, post-campaign launch evaluation. I want to hear what people have done. You know, what are your thoughts? What's worked? What hasn't worked? Again, not revealing confidential information, but generally, you know, what are your thoughts? What are your questions? And it's important, and it definitely plays into your grade. There are 5 assignments. Each one will be worth 10% of your grade, okay? It'll be graded out of a scale of 10. So 10 is a possibility. You could get a 9 or whatever happens to be. And then there's a final project. It's worth 35%. And basically, you will be creating a research plan for the advertising for Hasbro, who has a new game called Social Strategy. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna talk about this every week, a little bit. I'm also going to take the time. I don't know if anybody in this class ever developed a full research plan, start to finish? Shout out, I can't see everybody because of having the presentation up. Is there anybody who has done a full research plan?
In
I
what
have.
way?
It's Riley.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting from, okay, here's the first thing I'm going to do. I might be doing a rewind of information I know. And then I need to evaluate, you know, and then I need to figure out what the insight is. Then I need to decide, okay, how am I going to write my concept? How would I evaluate the concepts? Okay, now how do I evaluate, you know, which piece of advertising, which version of the advertising works? How do I decide what channels to advertise in? Then what do I do when it goes live? That kind of thing.
Everything up until the advertising.
Great, that's excellent. So we're going to talk about how to put a plan together, and I will share out some formats that might work, especially for anybody who's never done it before. You're not required to use the format I'm going to provide, but it may help you in terms of how you do your research plan, because each week we're going to be doing something different. There's only one week when we don't have any homework, and that'll be going into week 3. There'll be, each week we'll do a little bit of something. So we'll talk about, you know, how to develop insights and what's an insight. Then we'll figure out what's the difference between qualitative and quantitative, et cetera. And there'll be a bunch of different things. And you have to apply each one so that by the time we're ready to build our research plan, you will be able to think through, oh, I can do one of these because I understand this kind of data. And then I could do qualitative or quantitative, and I could do this, and I can run, after it's been in the market for X amount of time, I could do this kind of testing, or before it launches, I could do an A/B experiment. We're going to do experiments, all these different types of things. So I'm just saying that out loud. This isn't like, hey, we're just going to spend a few minutes together and you're going to go off and do your stuff. I want to make sure that we spend enough time together. And I'm here to answer questions. I want to make sure that you know that I will have office hours, okay? I don't have a set time I'm going to do office hours. So I will do office hours when you want office hours. Individual, group, whatever you want to do. If you find that you're having an issue with an assignment, just ping me in email. I'm really good about getting back to you, getting back to people, and I will absolutely get back to you pretty quickly. And we can set up office hours. We can set up some time to go through, you know, whatever it happens to be. Even if you have a work in progress assignment and you're struggling and you can't figure out how to get it to the next step, I'd rather have a discussion because you're here to learn. So to have you turn in an assignment that, you know, it didn't hit the mark or something like that, I'd rather have a discussion as we go along the way. Does that work for everybody? Okay. Also, in terms of, if you have a problem, sometimes, you know, things come up, family emergencies, stuff, and you're running late on an assignment, I need to know. So don't turn in an assignment. Like, just don't say, okay, hey, I'm not just not gonna turn my assignment in, or I'm gonna be 2 days late, but I don't need to tell Debbie. Hey, I do need to know, okay? Because if you noticed in the syllabus, there is a table of how, you know, the grades will be impacted. You know, if you don't, let me know. So I need to know. And then we can figure out what timing would be appropriate. We can't do it every week, but I do understand stuff happens. Okay, this is real life. Everybody has real jobs. And, you know, we've got to take all of that into consideration. Okay, does that make sense? And if you're not going to be able to make a class, as I said earlier, there are, out of the 7 classes, if you find you can't make a class, just let me know that you're not going to be in the class. And if there are implications for homework, I know sometimes people travel for work, just let me know. Okay? Any questions? Okay. So in addition to the syllabus, there is a page that looks like this. So let me just talk about the homework for 1 second. So for all Bank of America people, you are not able, because of your firewall, you cannot turn your homework in the Brightspace environment. Okay, so for Jared and Jacqueline, you're going to upload your homework in Brightspace, and I'll grade it in Brightspace, and I will give you feedback on your assignment in Brightspace. Okay, so that's what's going to work for you guys. For the Bank of America team, you can't get to Brightspace. So what I'm going to do is the following. You'll complete your assignment and you'll email your assignment to just me. Okay, don't copy everybody else on it. Just email it to me. You can email it to either the email that I wrote you the welcome email on, right? So everybody should have that, or to my NYU email, which was the DAB 10074 at nyu.edu. And when Raphael sent out his note to everybody, it's also listed in there, so you have that. So you could send me your homework. I will grade it. I will also be grading it and putting the grade into the Brightspace system, because we have to have an official grading. But I will be sending you feedback via email. Okay? I will get everybody's assignments graded and give you feedback before we have class on Tuesdays. I'm just letting you know that. Now, in order to be able to do that, and I'll tell you why I want to do that, it's because I like to spend the class after the homework. So next week, we have an assignment going into next week called Board Game Geek, and I'll talk about that. But I like to be able to grade the assignment, and then I like to have a discussion in the class the following week after, you know, everybody's done their homework. So we can talk about, oh, you know, a lot of people approached it this way, or maybe there was a very unique way that someone approached something, and I may have, you know, 1 or 2 or so people talk about their assignments and what they did. But it just happens to work well that day or that way. Now, all assignments are due on Saturday nights I have them set for 6 p.m. Eastern time. Now, I am open to discussion, not to move it from Saturday, but we could even do it a little bit later. What I've found when I've taught the class before, even with people who are on the West Coast, that people were tending to get it done on Fridays anyway, just to get it done, or they'd send it over to me on a Saturday morning. The homework shouldn't take more than a couple of hours, hopefully, each time. But how are we all feeling about since we're all East Coast, 6 p.m. on Saturdays for the homework delivery. Is that good for everybody? Okay. What, I'm sorry, did someone, Jared, go ahead. You're good? Okay, cool. Okay. So this is the layout, okay? So tonight's 6/18, hard to believe that's June 18th. You can see the class. This is in the Brightspace area. Again, for anybody who can access it for the Bank of America team, this should be in your space that you have behind the firewall. Okay. If you don't have it, I'm happy to email it to you. For the Bank of America team, anything I share in class, like I will when I do share out a research plan, like a mock research plan and stuff like that, I will just email it to everybody because you guys won't be able to access it because I will post it on Brightspace. And Jared and Jacqueline will have access to it. I'm not, because that's where they'll be getting their stuff, but then I'll email it to all of you. Okay. Work for everybody? Okay.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for, this is for Bank of America team. If you, because I'm like on the space that Raphael set up and I see the Board Game Geek, that Excel file, but if anyone else on the team from the Bank of America side, I don't see this Monk Fruit Delight. Do you give that out later on or something like that?
Oh, that isn't out, that should be out there. Okay, I will, so I can always send that to everybody, okay?
I have
don't
it,
know if the
Lena.
Bank of America, do you guys have it, like Kelly and Scott, do you see it?
Yeah,
Okay, then I'll.
yeah, I downloaded it all.
I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. I
Okay,
know I have the
Yes,
board game.
I have. When I went into the board game though, there's nothing there. This thing is blank.
I had the same
no,
issue,
I'm wrong
Lori.
about that.
I had the same issue, and then I just hit download, and it downloaded in Excel, and you get this big spreadsheet with lots and
it's
lots of numbers.
gigantic.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lena, if you scroll up on that same page, that's where this thing that she's showing now with the course on it is. It's on the same page as that other stuff. It's just above it in a
Okay,
PDF file.
Okay.
Good.
And for Jared and Jacqueline, any issues getting into Brightspace?
No, it's been super easy for me.
Okay, great. So go ahead, Jared, sorry.
I just said I was agreeing with Jack. Easy.
Easy, okay. And so anything, like we'll correspond via email as well. We can't, that's the way I usually do with anybody who's in the class via email, but all of your grades and stuff will be there, right? So you'll post your assignments up there and there's a place where I'll grade them and I'll give you feedback directly in there as well.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so go ahead. Anybody else? Okay, so what I want to talk about is I just want to do a quick little review of what Mark trusts. So did everybody get a chance to watch the 2 videos coming into tonight?
Yes.
Okay, great. Seems like everybody had a chance. So the person who's in them is a guy named Mark Truss. He introduced himself many times. He'll be joining us the last night. And we'll have a whole bunch of stuff that we'll talk about. But anyway, so what's really important right now is for us to be thinking about kind of what's this advertising and marketing journey, right? And I know that's why we're all here. It's like, how do we start? And how do we get to that point where, we have a piece of communication, a piece of advertising that's ready to go? How do we know it's ready to go? How do we measure it and evaluate it, right? And then, once it's live, how do we know if it's even working? So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. The place we're going to be starting as a class is really going to be in terms of really understanding insights and why insights are really important, and how insights play into the most successful marketing efforts. Has anybody done anything around developing insights at all in this class? I mean, not in the class, but, you know, in your roles anywhere, current roles, prior roles, anything like that?
This is Jacqueline. So my role as the digital lead for the JLR brands, we do a lot of optimizing A/B testing. So from the results that we have, we often have to produce insights from them and then use those to guide changes that we make across the websites, or brainstorm or use those insights to brainstorm future changes. But it's interesting because actually, since the reading, I had a situation today where I was looking at data from a change and I was like, oh, this kind of tells me a story and it's giving direction for something, but what's the insight here? So I'd say kind of, but again, looking forward to enhancing that after this course.
Okay, great, great. And what do you think the biggest challenges? So you watched the videos, you've done some hands-on stuff. Most challenging part of developing insights?
I think for me in my role, I don't necessarily have the full background for all of these steps. So we have demos, but we don't have I feel like sometimes I don't have the full picture that goes into it. So the full or the biggest challenge with developing the insight is, I guess I would say, developing it. So, okay, this data is showing us something. We have a clear indication that this change resulted in a positive impact to the website, but why is that happening? So I think that, you know, when we make a copy change to the website and just change the wording of a button that is a CTA, you wouldn't necessarily think would drive that much change. It's actually trying to figure out why that's happening, and based on the clientele, like, we have the data, but actually what is the insight behind it?
Got it. Anybody else on insights?
So a lot of what I do does require some, insights into data and more or less like how our advertising actually performed in the market. So how did it drive incremental volume, right? Not only do I have to just measure that, understand what that incrementality is from the advertising, but I have to understand why it works and explain that to our marketers. So, like, kind of gleaning from the data the insight as to why it is part of what I do well. And actually, one of the reasons I took this class is so I can understand that part of it.
Yeah, so I think thank you. Does anybody else want to comment before I make any comments? You know, developing insights is kind of an art, right? And I'm sure as you listen to what Mark had to say, and you know, you thought about it or you think about it, it's really about kind of connecting the dots, kind of seeing something that may not be written on a piece of paper. It's a lot about the why. And one thing I will say is that, you know, when in the work that I've done, and you kind of it is the connecting dots, knitting together the pieces, and kind of hearing what's being said by people, right? The people who use our products, buy our products, you know, tell us what they think, like and don't like. Thinking about those things and what's underneath the covers with all of that, that's where you kind of find those insights, right? And again, it's about the why. And insights, it's not going to be that report that you get with a piece of data, right? It's not going to be 34% of people think blah, blah. That's not it. There might be something with that, right? That might help you get to the insight. But then the question is, why? Why? What is the real insight? What's the reason? So if we go back for a moment and we think about all those products that we like, right? Anybody want to guess at what the insight might be behind some of those? Someone must have had a great insight, something about people. Anybody have any ideas on the products that they're using?
Well, isn't it?
Hmm?
It's Lori. It's Lori. I don't know if you can see me. Hold on. Doesn't it sort of come from like an emotional connection or something, some sort of emotional connection behind why you like a product or whatever. And so
it could be functional, a little functional too. Think about Swiffer. Swiffer is a
Yeah.
very common example. I'll use it for a moment because it's just really, it's a pretty straightforward thing, right? The insight for Swiffer was people don't like to clean, but they have to. So how do you make it easier for them, right? And that is basically how Swiffer was developed. Okay. I mean, I think it's quite brilliant in terms of, it seems so simple when you kind of say it, right? Then it's like, how do you make it easy, right? And not cost prohibitive and all those kinds of things. The thing about an insight is you want it to last. You want to think about an insight as a rain cloud, okay? And think about that you could have many, many pieces of advertising or new products coming out of an insight, right? Okay. So if you just had an insight that people like, pretend that it's about blue, you're probably only going to get one product, right? One thing. But the whole idea is that it needs to be long lasting. I mean, successful campaigns in brands have uncovered insights that last them for years. And successful brands are about continuity, about continuously talking about or being who they are, right? Because then when you see, let's talk about Dove. I know I spent a lot of time working on Dove, but you think about Dove, you know what Dove is, okay? Not only, might it be good in the shower, on your hair, or under your arms, or whatever it happens to be, but it's about people, about everyone, all shapes and sizes, self-esteem. So when you think about it, that is the brand positioning. And once you nail it, it should be long lasting because you don't want to be changing around who you are unless you have a problem, right? If you have a problem, you might have to change. But when you hit an insight, you'll know that you've hit an insight. You're going to feel it in your gut. You're going to know that it's right. Okay. So let's talk about a couple of other products, right? So for example, let's talk about Ordinary, right? So a product that I happen to like. The thing about the Ordinary is the insight behind the Ordinary. Anybody want to guess before I say? I love to guess the insights behind products. So anybody have a guess? Jacqueline?
I don't know what the Ordinary is.
Pardon me?
There's a product called The Ordinary?
It's called The Ordinary, and it's a bunch of skincare types of products that are all very reasonably priced. It was my favorite product that I had mentioned. I don't think you were on, Lori, at the time I went.
Okay.
And it very reasonably priced, effective products, easy to get them. You can get them in Sephora, you can get them online, lots of different places, effective, and you don't feel like you break the bank like you would if you were going to buy some really expensive skincare product, but just as effective. Go ahead. Yeah, Jacqueline, you were going to say what you thought the insight was.
Yeah, so I use their products too, and they're great. And I think that as far as some of the beauty websites go, their website is one of the most easy to understand what ingredients specifically target certain areas. So I think just knowing their easy to read website, their price points, maybe the insight could be that people want to have that beauty skincare has gotten inaccessible to some groups of people, and they're overwhelmed with the amount of options out there.
Yep. I would say that's excellent. I would say it slightly differently, but meaning the same thing. Simple, accessible beauty products. Right? And the insight was the same. People are frustrated, don't want to spend the money, feel like they're wasting their money. And for any of us who are out there shopping for skincare products, always looking for the holy grail, right? Hey, what's the next great thing? And so the insight was people are unsatisfied, that kind of thing. And there it was. So great. Any other thoughts on insights? Does that make sense? We'll talk about insights a lot. Okay. Anybody want to talk about insights with regards to their favorite product that they came up with? No? Okay. No problem. Okay. So the assignment for next week, in terms of this assignment, there's a lot of data. For anybody who has looked at the spreadsheet, if anybody's taken a look at it, you will notice that there is, like I said, there's a lot of data in the Board Game Geek. So here are the expectations. So it's about coming up with a few observations and an insight, okay? That is the idea. There's not a right or wrong, but it isn't about, 4 people thought this and 3 people thought this. It's really about trying to understand and letting the data speak to you. And I understand it's not as much as you may have in, a world outside of a gigantic Excel, okay? Right? Because you might have other types of observational data and other stuff. And you can feel free to, look for other things that might go along with it, but that's not required. So, I'm not going to take off points or anything like that. In terms of analyzing the data, there are many ways to do this. People have used proprietary tools. You can run regressions. You can do visual observation. You can sort this in tables. Everybody has different technical skills. You're not going to get graded on someone who made the best table, the best pie charts. It's great. I'm not going to discourage you from doing that. I think you should analyze the data in a way that's most comfortable for you. Does that make sense? Okay. Again, I have had people sort the data and say, you know what? It looks like this is really important. And I've seen this group of, users do this, and it seems like this is kind of what's going on. Once you learn something from the data, that's when you want to start asking yourself, well, why? Why might people, like to play harder games or easier games or whatever it happens to be? And then you can develop your insight. And the way to test whether it's an insight is, might it be emotional, to Lori's point? Is it a human truth? Okay. Is it something that goes beyond just this activity? Could you imagine making 5 or 10 different products? Once you know this insight, could you have a bunch of different things you would do as a result of this? Might it be a way to develop, advertising? Okay. Does that make sense? So the way I'll grade this, just to set expectations, is I'll be looking for your insight. I'll be looking for the observations. If I think your insight is an observation or a piece of data, I will note that. But let me know if you have any questions as you're going through it. Again, I'm not going to be grading on best technical approach. Okay. But again, you should analyze the data in a way that's most comfortable for you. If you want to run a regression, that's fine. You want to do a table analysis, that's fine. Whatever works for you works for me. Okay. Is that clear? Also, can you clearly make sure in your assignment that you state, okay, these are my observations, and this is my insight, okay? And in the homework, the way it's set up, basically you're going to detail the 1 to 2 findings or observation that you think might be relevant, right? As you start to think about, you know, the social strategy advertising launch. So just think about it and show the data, you know, like if it's, you know, 5 people said this and it's interesting. And then the overarching insight, and why you think it's the overarching insight. What got you to that insight? What was it that you thought made this the insight? Is that clear? Any questions on it? Concerns?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I just like opened up the thing that's in there and I don't really understand what's in there. Can you just talk about that a little bit? Like what's actually in the document? Because it just looks like a bunch of board games listed or something. And then there's a bunch of numbers and I can't.
It is. It's a bunch of user data. It's user data.
Is there like heading somewhere?
They should be.
Tell you what the user data. Okay.
Take a look through it,
Okay.
Lori, and if you can't, then maybe I can send you another copy of it or something. But what you're going to find is this is like a ton of data in an Excel. Okay.
Okay.
And again, there are so many ways to analyze this, and I'm not trying to be tricky at all. That's why I'm saying don't, you know, just do sorting to see, oh, you know, most people do family games, play family games, or, you know, more people seem to like this kind of game, or do this kind of game, or it's about social experience or whatever it happens to be. I would just kind of go through, you can do observational research, you know, just by kind of looking at it. You can do some sorting. A lot of people are very talented in Excel and can do a lot of regressions. I have had people run the data through tools that they have to do different things, but that is not a requirement, and I will not take off any that at all. I just think this is about reading through the data. Don't let the amount of data overwhelm you if that's possible, and just take some time and, you know, kind of become one with it a little bit and see what you see in the data. Does that make sense? Did that help, Lori? Ping me if you have any questions, if it gets wacky. Okay, so we have this is our assignment, 6 o'clock Saturday night, or 6 o'clock Saturday, right? Bank of America team, you're going to email it to me. You can email it to me at either email address. I will get it. Okay. I really appreciate it. Jacqueline, Jared, you're going to post your stuff right to Brightspace. That's great. If anybody has any questions or concerns, don't be shy about emailing me.
Seriously. Be careful what you wish for.
No, I'm totally okay with it. I would not offer it if I didn't mean it. Okay. You guys are here to learn. And this isn't, again, about developing skills to sort data in a spreadsheet. We're not doing that. Okay. This is about go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just asking what format you wanted our homework in. Like, do you want us to just give you a couple of bullets in an email, or do you want something more formal, like a PowerPoint? Or
a Word document is fine. Like, if you guys are, whatever you're comfortable in, you like Word, that's good. PowerPoint, good. I do all documents. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
relatively versatile. You can send me PDFs. Again, I've seen everything. The thing that I really would appreciate is just really laying it out. You know, this is what I saw. These are a couple of the things I learned. Here's the data to support that, right? Here's a data table or whatever it happens to be. Here's a couple points of data. And then here's the insight. Why is this the insight? Well, you know, this is the why. This is what I think the why is in terms of what's happening. You know, whatever you want to describe. And I think once you get into the data, it'll become clearer. I want to give you a chance to go through the data before I tell you. But again, don't be shy. Okay, I am happy to talk about it. Okay, and not just for this assignment, for all of them. Okay. And again, next week we do have a guest speaker. So I'll have 3 guest speakers for our classes. I know we're at 8 o'clock, so I'll let everybody go. But next week, our guest speaker is Elizabeth Tarpinian. She is the head of research at Dannon. She was one of my colleagues at Unilever. And in your videos going into next week, there'll be a discussion about what kind of a research buyer are you. We don't have anybody from the supplier side this time in our class, but we all have partners, internal partners, external partners, and Liz will talk a bit about how she partners with outside sources. So it'll be very interesting. But before we get to that, next week she'll start at about 7:30. We will share the presentation out to everybody after the class. But before we do that, we'll talk about the assignment, the board game assignment. Okay.
It's a quick question
Yeah.
for the Bank of America team. Everything we go through what we call our learning hive. And so the question around the homework assignments each week, will they be posted in advance so that if you're trying to at least look at them prior to the class?
Scott, they should all be out there already. My understanding from Raphael is that he basically took the Hive is basically a copy of Brightspace.
Okay. So I will talk
posted out there should be there.
I will talk to him because the only thing we see right now is the board game assignment. So I will ask him to post the rest of the assignments.
Okay. Yeah. And if you have any issues, let me know. I will make sure that you get what you need. And that's not a problem, at all. Same thing for Jacqueline and Jared, for anybody. I will make sure you get what you need. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, be in touch with whatever questions you may have. No issues at all. Okay. Don't be afraid or shy about it. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Thank you all. I hope you have a good night. Everybody stay nice and cool to the best of your ability. I hope you all have some air conditioning too. So, okay. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Have a great
Bye.
night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.